While accompanying a research team to planet SR-388, Samus destroys a monster only for a parasite known as the X to emerge and attack her. On the way back to the base laboratory, Samus collapses. As Samus nears her last breath, the scientists concoct a vaccine composed of a Metroid cells and inject it into Samus, curing her condition while granting her the traits of a Metroid, namely an immunity to the X and a weakness to ice. Even though she lacks the abilities of her power suit, Samus would set out to investigate an explosion on SR-388's station. Upon arriving, Samus is alerted of 3 unsettling revelations. The X parasite is capable of making perfect copies using the DNA of its victims, X specimens were released from their capsules, and lastly, a parasite labeled the SA-X came to replicate Samus's intellect along with her fully upgraded power suit. Samus must then navigate the station while fleeing the SA-X's relentless pursuit. Metroid Fusion features an amazing storyline that encapsulates terror while also presenting enjoyable gameplay through power-ups and taxing boss fights. Metroid Fusion's narrative succeeds at being suspenseful through how it establishes fear. You're essentially powerless before an imposter trying to obliterate you, and since it's capable of thought, it'll adapt and grow stronger as time passes. Despite mimicking a human, it remains instinctual, so it cannot be reasoned with. Its only objective is to kill, and do some more killing with its vast kit of beams and missiles. After the SA-X was introduced, I actually began to grow really scared. I had no idea when or where it would show up, so I'd slowly inch by bit as the looming fear of death persisted throughout my entire playthrough. If you hook me up to a monitor, you'd notice a significant increase in my heart rate at any time I descend from a platform or enter a room, and no, I am not afraid to share that because I had justifiable reasons to be scared. The SA-X, in conjunction with other factors like the ambience, eerie music, and the absence of music in certain scenarios, contributed to an environment filled with tension. Although I could have pissed my pants at any given moment, I have to commend this game for instilling such strong feelings through its fictional world. The gameplay of Super Metroid consists of exploring the sectors of the station in linear fashion. You're frequently given objectives in a set order, with some areas blocked off until you progress the story, and for most missions you're granted markers indicating your destination. Very seldom will you find yourself underprepared, as resources like energy and missile tanks are pretty much laid out in front of you. If you admire the concepts of exploration without restriction and uncovering the secrets of a game's universe without additional aid, then you may brand the linearity as a flaw, but if you're more so interested in the game for its narrative and combat, then you'll probably admire the design of Metroid Fusion. I, for one, am a fan of the linearity because even though it feels really restrictive when it comes to the paths you take, it eliminates the prospect of me getting lost and running around in circles unknowing of what the hell to do, which is a deal I'll gladly take. Regardless, there's still a lot of depth within each sector, so exploration still felt fulfilling with Metroid Fusion's plethora of hidden secrets. Since Samus has the Metroid's DNA, she can absorb the parasites that emerge from enemies in order to recover her strength. It's important that you collect any that you see floating around because if you don't, they may create trouble for you via respawning enemies. Aside from that, the gameplay is what you'd expect from a Metroid. Obliterate everything in your path. You start off with just the basic beam, but as you progress, you'll come to possess lots of cool stuff like the plasma beam and freeze missiles. Suit upgrades like the Variety Suit and Morph Ball are obtained via defeating bosses infected by the X parasites. After you destroy the outer shell, you have to dispose of the parasite core by using your missiles. It is only then will you be able to absorb the suit upgrades you've lost. When I started my adventure, I felt powerless, but a sense of satisfaction found itself within me as I expanded my arsenal and conquered the challenges of this game's fun boss battles. It was that evolution and growth that made the experience all the more enjoyable. What especially appealed to me was the sound work in this game. Yeah, it's an obscure aspect to point out, but I mean, just listen to it. Every missile is extremely satisfying to land because of how crunchy they sound. Little things like the sound effects, the enemy screeching in agony, and visual deterioration really sell the impact of each blow. Just imagine how spiritually achieved you'd feel if at any time you played with the bubble wrap you heard that sound. If it wasn't clear enough, I think Metroid Fusion is an excellent game with an excellent narrative worthy of praise. The rampage of the all-powerful SA-X is constantly enforced in order to keep you vigilant at all times. A demon is roaming this eerie environment alongside you, tracking your every move, destroying everything, all in its quest to obliterate you while you're at your weakest. Because of this, an aura of terror surrounds the station as you explore, kill infected monsters, and get your powers back. When will it appear? Is it here? Should I go through this door? Were questions that plagued me as I played, and they never seemed to stop coming as I navigated the premises. I love the SA-X as a villain because of its ability to invoke fear without speaking a word, and I adore the bosses in this game because they're really well designed and challenging. Progression through this game can be linear and restrictive, but I'm okay with that because it places more emphasis on the narrative and combat alike. The game is clear with what it wants you to do, preventing many navigational errors, which is much preferred. It sucks that Fusion is so short because I really wanted to see more boss fights, but hey, at least I got quality out of the 5 hours that I played, right? There are a lot of things in Metroid Fusion that I'm afraid of, but I'm not afraid to give this game credit where it's due. Thanks for coming by and see ya!